Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Fish. This is the forever optimistically weekly series where I answer your questions on Discord. So don't forget to join our server if you've got a question for a future episode. Link in the description. So the world's taken a great leap forward. A lot going on, including in the world of guitar and gear. And you guys had questions. So smack a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it. That satisfies the almighty algorithm's unsavory desires and actually helps out the channel more than you might realize. And with that, let's jump into one of your questions. Nathaniel Bodom asks, not sure if you've seen, but I found this on Reverb. I had not, but that's sick. So Lee Malia's Jackson Surfcaster signature finally has a name, the LM87. The Jackson/Charvel Surfcaster launched in 1991, so I wonder what the 87 represents. $8.99, so at least this one is a Pro Series signature? Okay, let's try and find this listing then. Sick. Embargoed. Jesus Christ, why is Capital Guitars so fucking intense? Just shouting everything. They're an authorized Jackson Guitars dealer. Fuck. Sorry, Pringle. It's like, why are you shouting? It's not me, it's Capital Guitars! Okay, so obviously Jackson was not down with this early listing. Let's see if somebody's saved a screenshot or something.
A few moments later.
Nope, but Reddit to the rescue. British metal icon and Bring Me the Horizon guitarist Lee Malia has partnered with Jackson to create his signature LM87, a shred-ready axe built for heavy riffing and for alternative modern metal. Malia is renowned for his aggressive playing style and intricate solos. His high-performance guitar matches his demanding musicality. Its offset Surfcaster body shape and vintage appeal, the LM87 melds classic design with modern appointments. Love that. Thin open pore finish on the bound Akame body and neck exudes organic style, while the unique 3-ply pickguard and chrome hardware add striking accents. The fast D profile 3-piece Leonardo neck allows smooth riffing across the bound Amaranth fingerboard. Custom Jackson signature pickups. Huh, interesting. Including a bridge humbucker with a push-pull coil tap, equip the LM87 with versatile tone-shaping options to fulfill Malia's sonic vision. Hell yeah, this is solid marketing copy. The Tunematic-style bridge with anchored tailpiece and fine tuners provides rock-solid stability for low tunings and heavy picking. Designed in close collaboration with the legendary guitarist, the Jackson Lee Malia LM87 is built for shredding. Its blend of vintage vibe and high-performance features make the signature model a must-have for players who value commanding metal tone and smooth playability. And then the specs say Akame body, 3-piece Akame set neck. I thought it was Niato. Either way, they're both mahogany alternatives found on import guitars. 12 to 16-inch compound radius Amaranth fingerboard. Nice. I'm most interested about those custom wand Jackson LM87 pickups though, because Jackson's been teasing a return of their USA pickups for a while now. So it sucks that the listing is gone and we can't see more photos or anything like that. But I did see Jackson finally brought back the Surfcaster this year. Haven't had a chance yet to check out the models or really see specific details on anything they've announced this year so far. So let's check out what's going on together and take a closer look at what Jackson Guitars is doing in 2025. Alright, quite a few new guitars actually. That looks suspiciously familiar, but we'll get back to that in a second. Let's actually start with the Surfcaster. So we've got the X Series Surfcaster SCHT7, another X Series Surfcaster, the SCHT6, and then the very affordable JS Series Surfcaster JS22 HT. That's a crazy looking guitar. That headstock with the giant Jackson Scripts logo, hell yeah. Blacked out offset metal guitar. I'm into it. All right, so what do we have? Drawing from Jackson's iconic shapes, the new X Series Surfcaster blends vintage appeal with thoroughly modern appointments for the ultimate modern metal machine. I'm not sure how I feel about this phrase, oozing with attitude. The Surfcaster comes loaded with high output Jackson humbuckers, ready to pump out the thick, saturated distortion tones that built the Jackson legacy. Poplar body, bolt-on maple neck with graphite reinforcement, bound 12 to 16-inch compound radius, laurel fingerboard with pearloid shark fins. Compound radius is cool. I like how Jackson does that across their entire line from the high-end stuff to the budget stuff. And a modern metal guitar with this shape is awesome, but like poplar body, laurel fingerboard, even with crazy prices these days, $549 for these specs seems a little high. Indonesia, it's got a volute. That's a cool neck cutaway actually. Does it even have locking tuners? No. I can't get over how ridiculous that headstock is though. That's a big ass Gumby head. What do you guys think of the 3-side headstock on an offset body though? Awesome or cursed as fuck? And that's a nice touch on the pickups, the darker logo and blacked out pole pieces. Very metal. Just for comparison, these are what the old ones look like. These ones are more along the lines of Joe Duplanier's Skatecaster. Yo, what is this? That's awesome. It's like a Jim Root Surfcaster. And then here's the X Series 7 string. Ooh, with only one pickup. Interesting. This single pickup mania continues. It almost reminds me of like a simpler 7-string version of the XJ1. The headstock looks even crazier in 7-string form. Is that dust or does this one have a sparkle finish? Sparkle finish or dusty ass headstock? I think it does, you know? I think this one does have a subtle sparkle finish. Metallic black, there you go. Rest of the specs are pretty much exactly the same as the 6-string, apart from the 7th string, obviously, and the scale length that's an inch longer. That really is a cool neck cutaway, the way it follows the curves at the body. Again, it's one of those that just a couple of years ago probably wouldn't have been $5.99, but as a mod project platform, that shape in 7-string form, giant ass shark fin inlays, that headstock with that ridiculously massive Jackson logo, it looks like a fun time. And then the JS series version for $249. And what's really cool about the JS series is that even though they're super affordable, they still have a 12 to 16 inch compound radius fingerboard. Because that compound fingerboard radius traditionally is a big part of Jackson's DNA, and Jackson know it too. Super impressive they put that on even their budget level series. Also, as the poplar body, the maple neck doesn't have the graphite reinforcement though. They don't look the same, but the pickups are still listed as high output Jackson humbuckers. No cutaway, just an old school bolt-on block. And you have to say, comparing this to the X series, the pickguard does a lot for this shape. Although without the pickguard and with the pickup rings, it does have that Charvel SK1 Skatecaster vibe. This looks so much sicker though. Adds a little bit of that modern metal guitar class too. But speaking of modern classiness and the little things making a big difference, let's take a quick second to thank Factor for sponsoring today's video. Factor delivers delicious and nutritious meals straight to your door. Chef created and dietitian approved, Factor's pre-prepared meals are fresh, never frozen, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. As a full-time content creator, business owner, and father to a 3-year-old harbinger of chaos, Factor has been a game changer for an unpredictable and fully packed schedule. Factor's super convenient, efficient, and takes all the hours, stress, and mess of grocery shopping, meal prepping, and cooking out of the equation, giving you control of your time to focus on what actually matters: down-tuned riffs. Or an app, or whatever else you actually want to do. You guys know I'm a big HelloFresh fan. They actually own Factor now, and while I really enjoy HelloFresh's pre-proportioned ingredients and easy to follow recipes, when you're in the creative groove, nothing beats being able to fire up a nutritious and genuinely tasty meal in literally 2 minutes to fuel up without breaking the flow. And when I hear healthy meal, I just assume the main flavor is disappointment, but this loaded bacon and spinach shredded chicken with roasted Brussels sprouts and ranch sour cream, gotta tell you, quite the opposite of disappointment. And you gotta love a tasty healthy juice too. Menus are updated every week with new options, so you can pick your favorites, or you can have Factor craft your order based on your taste preferences and lifestyle goals. So if you're ready to see how Factor can help you live your best healthy life, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50AGAFISH to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50AGAFISH at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping for your first box. And of course, clicking the link helps support the channel by letting them know that I sent you. And while you're checking that lifestyle game changer out, let's get back into guitars. There's a new color for the Virtuoso, Rocket Red. Whoa, big 80s vibes. I gotta tell you, I was never really into these like classic Jackson style guitars, but the Virtuoso changed my entire perspective. That neck is awesome. I'd actually planned to sell it after the video because Super Strat, Floyd, nah, couldn't part with it. Still play it all the time. Personally, mine's in a better color though. Okay, now something funny that was just recently pointed out to me about Jackson's X series custom graphics guitars. When I've gone through Jackson lineups, I kind of just glossed over these because the specs weren't super interesting. The soloists have neck through construction, which is cool, but no name brand parts, Laurel fingerboards, and what I thought were just fun, generic 80s super shredder graphics from Jackson's past. But here's one of last year's ones, the X series soloist, and they've called this graphic Red Cross Daggers. Now, I didn't recognize it because they were kind of before my time, but if you were a Queensryche fan, there's a good chance you immediately recognized what was going on, because it turns out Chris DeGarmo, one of the original members of Queensryche, he played some very distinctive and recognizable custom graphics ESPs in the late 80s and early 90s, including this Red Cross Daggers ESP. Now, I'm not sure whether they actually went into production back then or not, but like, I don't know. That's pretty shameless. But so this one was sent to me. I'm not sure why it's not on Jackson's site yet, but it's on Sweetwater. It's the Jackson X Series Dinky DK1A in Warhol. Looks pretty cool, right? Warhol inspired art style, but instead of something lame like soup cans, fucking metal ass skulls. But again, if you're a Queensryche fan, maybe something about this seems a bit familiar. So here's another photo of Chris DeGarmo, and look at that. Here's a clearer picture of him with his ESP, and One could argue that there's some resemblance there. Turns out the Warhol is another one of Chris DeGarmo's very distinctive ESPs. Bro, the Jackson even has the same graphic name. But those aren't skulls. Where did those come from? And then while looking up Chris DeGarmo's guitars, I came across this picture. Here he is with the other guitarist in the band, Michael Wilton. And what's that guitar that Michael Wilton's playing? Guess who also had an ESP signature guitar, and his had skull graphics on it? There was also an LTD, but I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I hesitate to call it a ripoff. It's sus. It's sus for sure. I mean, across the industry, there's so many winks and nods to various iconic guitars. How many slash AFDs are there, right? Custom graphics. This is definitely one of the bolder ones. That's crazy. They've kind of done like an ESP Queensryche combo tribute, very close to shithousery territory. So for the soloists, there's 3 new custom graphics patterns. First one is polka dot, and even I recognize this one. That's got Randy Rhoads' polka dot flying V written all over it. Floyd Rose Special, Jackson high output humbuckers, or active in this case, I apologize. Actually looks pretty cool with polka dot headstock too. The next one is even more obvious. When Randy Rhoads sadly passed away, who was it again that took up 6-string duties with Ozzy Osbourne? Did he play something that kind of looked like this? Holy shit, I forgot how different Zakk Wylde looked pre-Viking era. From here to here. Fucking hell, look at that Wild audio guitar. And he's got a kilt now too. Missed opportunity for gold hardware and a gold truss rod cover though. So after all that, just for fun, I went back and took a look at another one. This was one of my favorites from last year. I said it reminded me of that scene in Land Before Time where there's like an earthquake or a volcano and the ground is breaking up. But was this also inspired by another famous guitar from the Land Before Time in another sense, by which I mean the shred guitar era before my time? And one of the first Google Lens results, I present to you this ESP Mirage Deluxe from 1992. Very different to what Jackson normally does, and how it's almost forming a body outline on that forearm carve. And the pickup combo, it's sus. You can't say it's not sus. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, if people want these vibes and ESP's not doing them, at least not at affordable price points, what are your options? AliExpress custom shop? Fuck that. I just think it's a fun game now. You can look at the Jackson custom graphics series, and it's like, what famous signature or custom shop ESP is this based on? And by the way, I'll drop links to all the gear we're talking about in the description for you. My general Sweetwater and Thomann links are also down below. If you're planning to grab something later, feel free to bookmark them. It's a simple way to support the channel, helps me cover costs, and keep bringing you high quality content. So massive thanks for being awesome if you decide to do that. And lastly, Checkered Past. And I wasn't quite sure about this one. Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick is known for those checkerboard guitars. He's more known for playing his Hamer Explorers though. And this one in particular caught my attention because it's kind of got those Warhol graphic vibes. Wait, what? Massive 62-foot guitar honoring Rick Nielsen is heading to Illinois, shaped like his iconic checkerboard Hamer. Yo, that's wild. Yo, Hard Rock better watch out though. Gibson might sue. If my history's correct, Fender bought Jackson in 2002 and they bought the company that owned Hamer in 2008. It was all under the same umbrella at some point, so maybe that's where this came from. But if we want to go down the more conspiratorial route, turns out that in the late 80s, early 90s, ESP made another Mirage Deluxe with that checkerboard finish. So, Rick Nielsen or ESP Custom Shop, you decide. And then this X Series Dinky in Illuminati. Wow. This one, I'm not too sure about, but I have a theory. Because Illuminati, it's a conspiracy theory. You ready for this one? So even though Alexi Laiho started playing Jacksons, he never actually had an official Jackson Road signature model. But that hasn't stopped Jackson from doing inspired tributes, including ones from later in his career. Now, doing an X Series custom graphics Rhodes might be a bit too obvious. So my theory is that this Floyd single pickup, all the green triangles, is a sneaky dinky tribute to Alexi Laiho's Greenie. Triangles, that exact shade of green, and you might be like, I don't know, not enough green triangles. Here's the LTD version with green inlays that are mostly triangle-ish shaped. I'm just saying, given how Jackson isn't shy about making tributes to guitars of their artists once they've left Jackson, that was a weird sentence. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of circumstantial evidence This makes sense to me. What do you think of my theory? Dinky tribute to Greenie, or have I gone completely off the deep end and this is something else entirely? And now this limited edition X Series HT Soloist, and this is my generation of metal. Where have we seen this vibe before? Mick Thomson, what is up, my guy? And again, Mick Thomson looking good with that red guitar and Seymour Duncan blackouts. And by the way, Mick Thomson's guitars are hardtails. That looks like a Floyd, but it's actually just a super chunky hardtail with all the mass and metal that a Floyd has. Specs on this one: poplar body, 3-piece maple neck through, 12 to 16 inch compound radius rosewood fingerboard, Seymour Duncan blackouts, AHB3. He's moved to Fish Influence now, but when he was with Seymour Duncan, those used to be Mick Thomson signature pickups. And actually his red Jackson was only ever a limited edition USA signature model, and so even though he's moved on from both Jackson and Seymour Duncan, this X Series version is kind of the closest affordable red Mick Thomson Jackson signature model that you can get. And now you can also get it in King V form. I've never seen any pictures or videos of Mick Thomson playing King Vs. My best tinfoil hat guess, possibly inspired by his other Ibanez signature, just like a super fucked up V with T-Rex arms. Either way, I'm huge into sci-fi and alternate timelines, so this is like a parallel universe Mick Thomson signature model. Cool. And speaking of alternate realities and parallel universes, it seems that 2 trillion% of viewers have not subscribed, or something, whatever, facts don't matter anymore. So let's get rid of that number. Here's a quick reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss any new videos. We just hit 220,000 subscribers, which is absolutely nuts. Thank you guys so much. Let's see if we can get to 250,000 subscribers this year. 250,000. Ambitious, but I think we can do it. And lastly, limited edition Pro Plus Pure Metal series. Tell me more. Okay, so we've got the Soloist SL1A, the Rhodes RR1A, and the Kelly KE1A. Dude, the Kelly especially looks sick. All right, let's figure out what's going on here. Gloss black, poplar body, creme bound, 3-piece maple neck through, 12 to 16 inch compound radius ebony fingerboard, 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets. I know it says jumbo, but Jackson's standard for jumbo is like everybody else's 3XL jumbo. Fish Influence Modern, Floyd Rose 1000, Lumen Lays. Awesome. I mean, again, clearly single pickup guitars are taking over. I love how metal guitarists have pretty much just entirely given up the facade of even giving a single shit about the tone knob. Honestly, it's only a matter of time before we even give up the volume knob. Just give us a fucking kill switch. 0 or 10, baby. I mean, again, these are the kinds of modern guitars that I was begging Jackson for the longest time to make. Last couple of years, they've really stepped up blending their iconic legacy shapes with modern metal specs. And like we've been seeing with ESP, with Ibanez, with Schecter, the classic blacked out metal guitars are making a comeback. And in this case, the chrome hardware, the direct mounted Fish Influence Modern, you know, old school style metal guitars, but with modern updates and subtle classy twists. And it goes to show trends are cyclical, history rhymes, right? Like this is the modern style, but also you could easily see Marty Friedman circa euthanasia era shredding all our faces off with one of these. So yeah, usually a little pointy for my taste, but the overall vibe, excellent. I'm so into the blend of vintage Jackson and modern functionality. Pro Plus Pure Metal Hardtail King Kelly next, please. But anyways, that's more than enough rambling from me. Here's where I'll throw it to you. What do you think of Jackson's new guitars? You digging the return of the Surfcaster? What do you think of Jackson's artist tributes? Have you also fully publicly renounced the tone knob? And should I get one of the Pro Plus Pure Metals on the channel demo? Any and all thoughts, drop them down below. And now it's time to hear from yet another adoring fan. It's the high praise of the week. This guy just sucks. Yes, we found Capital Guitar's burner account. That's high praise. And now let's do a quick rapid fire roundup of new releases and just interesting gear shit. Keep these on your radar. 5 more highlights from the current Gibson mod collection you need to see. The 70s Explorer in classic white, ridiculously cool combination of mismatched color accents, red pickup rings and black pickups with chrome pole pieces, black and gold hardware and appointments, all in classic white. Sounds weird, but it really works. Les Paul Standard 50s in midnight velvet. Black satin with chrome hardware is already sleek, but just that little bit of color with the purple pickup rings, amazing. Not sure about the back, but the top shows how even simple mods can have a powerful impact. Les Paul Custom Access Melon Fade Metallic. Red Sparkle Top P90 Custom with gold hardware and white appointments. Then the contrast with the natural back, so freaking clean, no notes. Epiphone USA Casino and Blackberry Sparkle. Very classic vibe, but with subtle sparkle for a little modern flair. Nice. And again, you've gotta love a good natural wood sparkle contrast. Les Paul Studio and Avocado Gold Mist, so ugly it's kind of awesome? Kind of. Either way, proof that avocado is a force multiplier for both Chipotle bowls and for Gold Mist finishes. Those are my opinions. Agree, disagree, want to fight about it? Then, the most famous Schecters you probably didn't know existed. Shohei, guitarist and sim, best known for Attack on Titan's opening theme, is one of Schecter Japan's biggest artists with 4 made in Japan signatures. The ACSMSH SIG, because Japanese brands love their Wi-Fi passwords, dropped around 2013. Honduran Rosewood fingerboard, Seymour Duncan JB custom pickups, Goto hardware. As a custom shop level artist series model, it's built by the same luthiers using the same tools as Shohei's personal guitars. The PA-SMSH is the way more attainable version, part of Schecter Japan's high-end production Pro Gauge series. Identical specs except for the non-Honduran Rosewood fingerboard and a significantly less evil logo. Then last year they dropped the Artist Series AC-SM-SH7 SIG with stronger encryption, ash-blasted body, ebony fingerboard, lumen lays, hipshot hardware, and 7-string Seymour Duncans. And again, the Pro Gauge PA-SM-SH7 has near identical specs, just Goto hardware instead of hipshot, a less sinister logo, and a much friendlier price tag. Compared to most of Schecter Japan's lineup, Shohei's Metal's Fox signatures look the most Schecter-y as we understand them in the US. But then, you sure about that, Gibson? After a brief absence from the lineup, the Les Paul Studio has been revived in Ebony, Blueberry Burst, Wine Red, and Cherry Sunburst with plain maple tops. The most striking change from every previous version is that the Rosewood fingerboard is now bound. Honestly, I loved how aesthetically clean and minimalistic the no binding look was, especially on those 90s Ebony board studios, but in fairness, this looks much closer to the higher trim Les Paul standard, especially with the return to vintage deluxe tuners. Under the hood, we've now got Burst Bucker Pros, hotter than the previous 490R 498T set, and interestingly, proper coil tapping, which basically revoices the full humbucker by removing specific frequencies. So unlike the much more common coil split, no massive volume drop, and no obnoxious single coil hum. Gibson have dubbed this newly reimagined version as the one, as in the one and only all-around guitar you'll ever need for anything. I get what they're saying, but as a Les Paul addict, I have to disagree with the premise. There is always a need for another Les Paul. So that will do it for this week's episode of Ask Fish. Massive shout out to my amazing Patreon supporters. You guys make the channel what it is, so thank you. If you'd like to see your name up there and get bonus extras, consider directly supporting the channel by becoming a patron as well. Super comfortable merch is available. That's another great way to support the channel. And don't forget, you can grab a free IR from my new company Kickass Audio down below too. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.